my philosophy as a football coach, like to the core, is really to impact young people's lives. Like, I want to create an environment that is positive yet still competitive. I want to utilize the adversity through the game to equip my players with the tools to be successful, not only in the game of football, but also in life.
Welcome back to the Let's Be Real podcast with your host, 𝘠𝘴 Powell. And today I have a special guest. It is Mike Jasper, head coach for Stetson University football team. Hi, Mike. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you, B. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You're a bit of a celebrity.
Yeah, I don't view myself as such, but I definitely am blessed with the platform that I have. So excited to be here and share with you today.
Okay, before I ask you about your platform, tell me a little bit, who is Mike?
That's a great question.
You're right.
Yeah, phenomenal question. I think it's a little bit more complex than just a standard answer. So I mean, to put it into perspective, I'm a child of God. I'm a husband. I'm a father, and then we get into the football aspect. And I think it's very important, in my line of work and what I do in my belief system to kind of stay honed in on that, and it's in that order. So that's who I am at the end of the day. A lot of people get to see the football side of things, but I think it would be a shame if they didn't get to know the other parts of me before I leave this earth. So.
Yes, I agree. That's why I'm asking, who are you? And I like how you give the order, right?
Yes,
God,
ma'am.
family, and then, sport, business, profession, that type of thing. So how would you describe yourself in 3 words? Are you like a passionate guy, an athlete?
Very much so, yeah. Very passionate. I think, people see the stature and they see me in the weight room. I love to work out. Very passionate about the athletic side of things, but I'm also into the arts.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
what
Like
kind of arts?
music, film, things like that. Not an actor by any chance, but definitely I love a good 80s movie. I love, great films, great acting. So there's a little bit more to me than just football, I would like to say.
Okay. Well, see, I thought you would be a good fit for me because I don't know much about football.
Yeah.
So we can talk about everything else but football. But of course, I want to ask those questions as well.
For sure.
So you are now head coach of Stetson University football team. And obviously you didn't start there. You started as a player. Can you just give, our audience a synopsis of what you have done?
Yeah, so kind of a crazy story. I've been involved with the game of football and athletics since I was 4 years old. I got into football, my mother was shopping, came from a single parent household. We were out shopping, and a police officer came up and said, "Hey, ma'am, your son, he, looks really big, athletic. We'd love for him to come and box,
Oh, box.
for the police
Okay.
athletic league," right? So that was my first introduction to sports. But the problem was, the officer thought that I was 8 years old and I was only 4. That's how big I was. So quickly he directed my mother to my first football coach, and the rest is history. I've loved this game. I love what it's been able to give to me throughout my life. So grew up through the ranks, normal ranks, playing little league, playing middle school and then high school. The natural nutrition throughout the process, and then had the opportunity as a top prospect to kind of have my pick of where I wanted to go play football, and originally committed to Ole Miss, University of Mississippi. Immediately adversity struck. Coach Cutcliffe, phenomenal football coach. He gets let go.
Oh,
Coach
no.
Orgeron comes in. He has his recruits. So it kind of left me, sort of trying to figure out and pick up the pieces for myself. So I ended up going to the University of Tennessee at Martin. Was able to play at Tennessee Martin. We were able to turn that program around, and me being a young, naive football player, a little bit too big for his britches, I decided to transfer well before this new transfer portal world that's going on that you see on TV. So I went to Middle Tennessee State. Was at Middle Tennessee State. Did not handle business. Was not a very productive student athlete at Middle Tennessee State, which kind of, it kind of led to, kind of my belief system as a coach and what I try to instill in my players because I've lived it. So, it's a key part of my testimony is that year at Middle Tennessee State. And then me kind of having that come to Jesus moment, like I got to get my degree. So I ended up going and playing at Bethel University, and I think it's a funny deal there because if you don't know, if you didn't go to Sunday school, I don't know all that jazz. Bethel stands for House of God.
Right.
So I think it was very cool that the Lord saw fit to take me to a place called House of God, His house, for my story to kind of take that turn,
Right.
and for my life to get back on track. And it was there that I wasn't, really focused on just making my mom proud and getting my degree.
What's your degree in?
So my degree is in it's actually in university studies. I started off as pre-med, then went to philosophy as I bounced around schools, and then was physical education, but I was drafted before I was able to complete it.
Right.
So I came back after my rookie year and transitioned. I couldn't do the student teaching, obviously, because I was playing. So I have a university studies with an emphasis in athletic coaching and physical education. So I was able to complete that degree and make my mom proud. That's what I was
Yes.
focused on.
Yes.
But while doing that, was able to get drafted to the National Football League.
Yes. Well, NAIA to NFL is not that common, right?
Not at all.
Not
No,
at all.
ma'am.
Yeah, I hear that you are still the most recent one that made that transition.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe they learned their lesson, but no, I hope not. But yeah, absolutely, it's unheard of. You see guys from smaller schools get the opportunity to play at the next level, but to actually be drafted and for them to use that pick, it's a high honor.
Yeah. Well, I looked you up on Wikipedia, and that's where it was.
That's awesome.
So you talked earlier a little bit about, you went through some times where you were not straightforward in your career and not really studying all that much, and then you had a mindset shift that you now are bringing to your team. Like, what is your philosophy, and what are you imparting on your team these days?
Yeah, that's a phenomenal question too. Like my philosophy as a football coach, like to the core, is really to impact young people's lives. Right? I want to create an environment that is positive yet still competitive. I want to utilize the adversity through the game to equip my players with the tools to be successful, not only in the game of football but also in life. And I have that blueprint, right? Some of the things that I was getting in trouble and doing throughout my life, if I hadn't learned about how to handle or deal with those things through a game, it could have turned out very differently in life. And that's what I try to instill in my guys. Like, hey, like I'm going to be so hard on you, right? I'm going to love you, right? But I'm also going to be so firm with you so that when you leave this place, like you have learned those lessons, because I want you to leave here better than what you came in. And that's what I tell my players, and that's what I tell their parents as well.
Can you talk a little bit about the team that you have right now, that you inherited, and what sort of your focus is?
Yeah, this team right here is special. In the game of football, like especially now with the transfer portal and NIL and things of that nature, like when you take over a football team, you see a lot of coaches that kind of get rid of everybody. They just so wholesale cut everybody, and bring in all new players or buy new players, and we're not able to do that here at Stetson. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise because I've gotten to know these young men, and they went through a lot of adversity with the last staff without, trying to, say anything negative about them. It is what it is, from a budgetary standpoint, from, culture standpoint, it was just awful, very, very bad from top to bottom. So, it's been very special kind of turning this thing around and building it and showing them a different way. And their buy-in and belief has been just phenomenal. So this team that we have here at Stetson is like very special to me. Like these kids, they didn't know me from Adam. I didn't recruit them here. I just kind of got dropped in their laps, and we've learned to love each other, and we've grown together over the course of this year.
Yeah. So it must be sometimes a little bit of a stretch to be really firm and still win in the locker room. Do you feel that?
Yeah, to be honest with you, like I learned a long time that the number one characteristic of a champion is consistency.
Right.
Like hard work, any attribute, and you would know this too, obviously being a leader and a successful business person, like you can have all these pillars to success, right? But if I only do them every so often, they're not true pillars. They're not going to be a build a firm foundation for
Yeah.
success.
Yeah, very true.
So I think it's very important just to be consistent. That's how you don't lose the locker room, just being consistent, being the same person each and every day. Like I said, they know that I love them. But love isn't always sunshine and rainbows in football. Sometimes it's that firm but fair that they need.
I agree. So I want to ask a little bit deeper. So when you prepare them for sort of these high pressure situations, how do you actually do that? Is it setting up a game, or do you have a lot of theory or group sessions, things like that?
I'm a firm believer that like practice makes perfect, but you can't just practice, right? It has to be proper practice. Like that proper preparation prevents the poor performances. So I like to throw a lot of adversity, even at my coaches as well, throughout the courses of our practice. So I use things like sudden changes. Like the script might say one thing, but I might spot the ball at the 30-yard line and say, hey, offense here, defense there, go. And everybody's got to kind of think on the fly and work on the fly. What better, way to practice being a father? Like, I wake up and my daughter's sick. How are we going to get her to school? How are you going to get the other two to school? Like, I like throwing different situations at them. And we even have situational periods throughout practice too that are planned just to put them in the worst situation possible. I may tell the offensive coordinator the exact defensive blitzes that are coming that day so he could script for perfect success. Well, how's our defense going to respond to that?
Yeah.
Offensively, I may tell the defense exactly what play's coming at what time. It doesn't matter, we still have to execute at a high level. So those are some of the things I like to do to kind of change it up and get them rolling in the right direction.
Okay. What do you think is, when you think about the public, right? So when I remember when football and lacrosse came to Stetson University, it's not that long ago, and it created, community to go to the games, and it was just really fun. So what would you say, somebody from the outside, like audience, what don't they know about football? Is there something that you would say, well, stereotypically, nobody thinks about X, Y, Z. We have to do X, Y, Z. Is there anything that comes to mind that the public in general kind of forgets?
I think honestly, from a public standpoint, and this is like a big part of who I am and what I believe as a football coach, and at this point, without sounding cocky, a successful football coach. Like I've won 70% of the games that I've coached in, and I've won a couple of championships at every level. As a player and a coach. And I think the buy-in from everybody, I think it's so easy for the public to sit back and point the finger and complain about the coach, or I would have done this, I would have done that. And to an extent, they have every right to do that as fans. But when you look at championship teams, it takes everybody. Like they really need to know the inner workings of the community being involved, showing up, monetary gifts, time gifts, donate, like just simply donating the time and coming and being around the program helps retention. Like there's a lot of behind the scenes things that really should make the community proud to support a Stetson University football program. Because when we win that championship, I'm thinking it takes all of us to be successful.
Including the people in the community.
Including, very much so. They're very much, and that's how it was at Bethel. What we were able to build in McKenzie, Tennessee was an all-inclusive atmosphere. All of my practices are open. I've never had a closed practice in my entire career. I want people from the community to be there. And that kind of stems from being in that small rural community where there was no entertainment. So those kids would come to our practice and parents would come to our practices. We shot off fireworks and flames and pyrotechnics at every game because we were the biggest show in town. And that's something I want here at Stetson, right? I want the community to be fired up and to be proud and for us to be a source of pride for the community.
Yeah. Where would I go if I want to watch your practice?
We're at the ATC right there on Minnesota. So, we practice early in the mornings at 5:45, but like this spring on Saturdays, we have 10 a.m. practices. So we do have some opportunities for the kids and everybody to come out and support. And we have our spring game on the 25th at 1 o'clock. So
25th, April 25th?
April 25th.
Okay.
Yeah, more than welcome.
Yeah, better be there.
Yes, I love it.
So now you live in DeLand, obviously. You moved here. How do you like it?
Love DeLand. I absolutely love this place. It was described to me when I took the job that there was like a bubble over DeLand. Like the
Yes.
rest of Florida, they're like, as you go south, obviously Florida's not Florida anymore. But that DeLand had this bubble, and you still had that small town feel. I think that was something that the administration wanted to make sure was relayed to me before I accepted the job, coming from such a small rural area, and with a young family. And that's one thing I can say is that this town is just absolutely special. It's become so important to me and my family. And then the support, obviously, that we've already received in year one. We were able to have the highest attendance at our games since 2018. And if you know anything about Stetson football, 2018 and 2019 were probably the only two true successful seasons that the program has had since it's come back. So we're building something special, and people are taking note.
Yes. So what is your overall goal with, I mean, is it just the championship? But, got to have some other goals probably with the team that you lead right now.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, my goal with any one of my programs is for the kids, the young people in my program to leave better than they came in. A lot of those successes aren't going to be, you're not going to see those successes until years, even decades down the line. Like, what kind of husband are they? What kind of father are they? I'm getting to that age where some of my guys are coming back. Just before I got in, one of my offensive linemen that I coached at Bethel, had his first son. So I'm starting to get those milestones and see some of those successes.
Yeah.
I think that at the core is why I coach. And that's what I want here. I want great young men to come from this program and grow. But from a football standpoint, I want Stetson to be a national contender. And however that looks, we'll work together. And like I said, it'll take the community. Because as of right now, we're not a scholarship program. We're not like other programs that we even play. Our league is all non-scholarship, but, we play UC Davis this year.
Right.
And they're, top 10 team in the country. Well, all their kids are going to be on scholarship. My kids aren't. So what does that look like in the future? We'll build it together, I think. But that is my ultimate goal, is for Stetson to be a national contender, and to be known for our works on and off the field.
Right. So we will enjoy having you here for years to come.
I pray.
Forever.
Yeah.
That would be great.
I would love that. I would love that.
Now, you're a father. You have
Yes, ma'am.
three children and a lovely wife.
Beautiful wife. Yeah, a phenomenal wife.
Yes, I've met her. She is phenomenal.
Yeah, she speaks very highly of you too.
That's good.
Absolutely.
And so your children are young. Are they playing football yet? I mean, like tossing the ball yet, or
Yeah, so
how's that
it's
looking?
funny the like phases that young kids go through. Davis is, obviously with her being the oldest, she plays soccer. So she's done soccer, and she's gone kind of quickly from the, not knowing what's going on and crying to get off the field to like actually participating and scoring goals, which is awesome. Millie is my oldest twin. So Davis is 5. Millie and Sam are twins. They're 3. And Millie Claire is athletic as well, but she's brilliant. She's I don't know the left brain versus the right brain, however that works, but she's the very artistic one, loves to sing, dance,
Yes.
dresses as a princess every day, doesn't care what she puts on.
You
Like,
might have a gymnast on your
it
hand.
might be, right? Like, I mean, I'm very curious to see what she turns into. It might be a doctor or scientist, because she's all over the place, but she's amazing. But she's getting into athletics. But Sam is the youngest twin. He's my baby boy, and he's my only boy. And, he's starting to really get into it. Like, really, he wants to take the tee out every day and play t-ball and play football and stuff. So hopefully, out of those 3, one of them's going to take after daddy, and then the other 2 take after mommy. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
She's great too.
Would you love for him to play football? If that's something he loves to do?
Absolutely. I would love for that. I think that's every, father's dream that plays the game of football, is for their son to follow in their footsteps. There was a time when I was nervous about that,
Right.
With the game of football, how dangerous it is. Like, it hurts. It's a very, very physically demanding game. I think we're the closest thing to modern day gladiators, is what I say. You step in that arena, you're putting your body on the line. But with the advancements in like equipment and the fact that, even the coaching style that I've changed to, I was very old school when I started. And even the techniques now that we teach at Stetson, I'm more confident that he'll be okay. So I'm very excited about, his future and how he takes after it.
You train every day?
I train every day. Yeah. I don't eat right every day, but I train every day.
It's part of the equation,
It
right?
is, right? The most important part of the equation is the diet. I do not follow that. But yes, I have to. I train nearly every day, right, wrong, or indifferent.
Yeah.
I get
Do you
after it.
play?
I do not play. I will play pickup basketball here and there. Football, obviously, is very tough. There's no adult
Yeah.
leagues. I'm 40 now, so. But I do competitively lift. You know, I get
Yeah.
into powerlifting.
Oh, you do competitive
Yeah,
lifting?
yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I'm training for now. Would like to get into a powerlifting meet by the end of summer. So
Oh, right. So is this like a new hobby or a new sport for you, I should say?
it is, absolutely. Now, obviously, I've
Okay.
always been strong
Yeah.
lifting and playing the game of football, but you know, just sort of something to fuel that competitive drive for
Yes.
myself.
Yeah.
Coaching does that. You know, oddly enough, I never thought that it would. But watching those guys achieve certain things and like, you know, I get a thrill through that as well.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's just something about, you know,
It's even
doing it
worse when you're
yourself.
with your kids.
Oh, I can imagine. They're starting, yeah. Like I never played soccer, so that's probably best for Davis. So daddy could sit back and just be quiet. But let mommy handle that when she played soccer. But yeah, that's kind of scary to think about, B. Like I didn't think about that. Like when he plays football, like how will I be? Wow.
Yeah. You're thankfully there's a few more years, right?
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
collect
I
a
got
lot
a
more
few.
wisdom.
I got a few. You have to give me some pointers on how you handle it and other.
Yes. I never had a kid in football. I would have loved to, but that was not in the cards.
No,
So
but it's skydiving, right?
me, yeah, I used to. Yes.
Yeah, you skydive?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to. I'm now an equestrian, but I have that
Wow.
competitiveness in me, and I grew up with track and field,
Love it.
heptathlon, pentathlon. That was my background until I ruined my knees. But I've always wanted to find another competitive sport, so I became skydiving, formation skydiving for many years, 15 years, 16 years. And after that, I went into, horse jumping, which is also competitive. So
Very
it just
much.
doesn't go away. And, being at work, it also doesn't go away because I carry that with me and I want to win for my clients. Right?
Absolutely.
And now as a coach, you want to win or you want your team to win, you want your kids to win. And I understand that fully. It satisfies.
Isn't it awesome how that drive can just like, it translates throughout your life?
Yes.
I love it. Do you
Yes.
find yourself like trying to gravitate more towards people with that drive?
Yes.
Like the athletic drive?
Yeah, I do.
That's awesome.
Because what I find with athletes, they're not only driven, they can do hard things and they have a passion and they will give up things. So I love that discipline. And it gets me fired up, to be honest. It's very motivating.
Yeah.
And I also find that at least most athletes, they carry that Olympian spark with them. They want to be fair. I treasure good sportsmanship and teamwork and
There's a certain level of character that comes with
Yeah.
people with that kind of drive.
and
Because you don't just want to win at all costs. You want to do it the right way.
that's right.
right. Like, yeah, I think there's a huge difference.
Yeah.
sure.
Do you sometimes feel you see a game, like I watch a lot of basketball, and sometimes you get a vibe that, they do want to, not Stetson, but other teams, they want to win at any cost. And
Absolutely.
you can kind of see that. And I don't know, what do you think about
It's
that?
tainted. I think it very much so tainted, especially in like our league.
Yeah.
Like with Stetson, with us being a non-scholarship, like it's different and policed throughout, every program, but you can kind of see that the different programs that kind of skirt the line.
Yes.
Right? Like, obviously the stack's a little more, the deck's a little more stacked in one way or the other.
Yeah.
Which is, it's fine, to each their own. I just, I prefer that to be able to do it the right way. Like,
Yeah.
I think integrity is very important. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, even when I'm recruiting a student athlete, like there might be somebody who's far more talented, but I know that they're doping or they're doing something they shouldn't be doing, or they're breaking the rules, or their character is flawed. I'll take the lesser athlete all day and then develop them, because they'll and when times get hard, I think those are the ones that'll stand up and actually fight. Right? They won't look for an easy way out.
Yeah. I feel like those are the values of Stetson in general. I mean, I've seen different coaches in different programs, and that seems to be a common denominator.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think that's one of the reasons why I love being here is that we're also surrounded by coaches
Mm-hmm.
that do it the right way, and
Yeah.
then I can lean on them. Like like we're talking about being drawn to athletic people with that same drive and mentality. Like they kind of have that mindset of, what can I do? Don't tell me what I can't do. Tell me what I can do, and then we're gonna make it work
Yeah.
one way or the other. They're all very driven. Steve Trimper, baseball coach, he's
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal. He gives me advice. Donnie gives
Donna,
me great
yes.
advice. I'm very 𝘠𝘬𝘵𝘴. She's taking a step back. Kind of breaks my heart because that's another coach that I can lean on. I can still call her
Yeah. Yeah.
when I need to, but Emmett in soccer. We got some phenomenal people at Stetson.
Yeah.
And in this community, obviously, yourself included, that I'm very
Thank you.
fortunate to be
Thank you.
networking with and learning and growing in my
Yeah.
profession and personal life as well.
Did you make a lot of good connections in DeLand already?
Already, yes,
Or
I
are you too
feel I feel
busy?
as such. It's this first year, B has been. It's been a lot. I know there's some people probably that are a little upset with me because I haven't reached out as much, maybe as last coaches in the past. But this turnaround, which is why I came here, because I
Yeah.
like doing things that people say can't be done. I'm stubborn like that. But it has been a complete rebuild. I've been doing a lot of things like trying to get the program, not just the players, but our budget, our culture, the way we operate, football ops standpoint, get like really rebuilding this place back up. And it's been so much fun. Like I love it. I
You
love
love
the
it?
challenge.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
love the challenge. So
Because it's not you. Sounds like you're more than just a coach.
you have to be.
Yeah.
You really have to be. I think the good ones are. They're more than a coach. I think the good ones really care about a multitude of things. We just use football as the catalyst, if that
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's also a business aspect there,
Oh,
right? Like
absolutely.
the financing, the budgeting, and so
Yeah,
on. So
you are a CEO. Like that is the new norm in college
yeah.
football, and especially at a Stetson because we don't have the resources to have as a fun like a huge staff of people that oh you're just going to do this, you're going to do that. You have to be able to wear a multitude of hats.
Yeah.
And as the head coach, if I want my younger staff, if I want them to be successful, I don't want to put way too much on them. So a lot of that I have to do myself. And then obviously they help a great deal in other aspects.
Yeah.
So,
Like a business owner, you wear a lot of hats.
yes, man. Yeah. I bet there's a ton you could tell me about, how, and it actually helped me be better as a CEO because I've never, truly been a true business person until I got into coaching.
Yeah.
You know?
That's awesome. What is one great trait that you think every really successful athlete has? And I know you said consistency.
Yeah.
I'm looking for another one.
Another one outside of the consistency, I think a growth mindset.
Okay.
I really think that athletes, I think that's one reason, like, we were talking about businesses and having, being able to network with people and being attracted to those type of people to help. I think like enterprise, I think is one that uses the model of hiring NCAA athletes or college athletes fresh out of college, and they kind of throw them because they know, like you said, they're going to work hard.
Yeah.
They do hard things. They're not afraid of it. But they also, I think, they have a growth mindset. Like they're not going to be complacent. They understand that complacency is the enemy. Like
Yeah.
it's that Pygmalion approach, right? Like, yeah, we won the championship, but now what?
Yeah.
Yeah, we won this game. Now what? There's no such thing as a perfect season, right? Like even if you break it down to people that have the true growth mindset, Nick Saban calls them dead soldiers marching. So it is like you get so enthralled with the process, like you're so process driven that you never even really focus or get excited about the outcomes, right? So I think when you talk about like those intangibles that that people want to talk about when you're looking at the draft that's coming up at the end of the month, you'll hear that word intangibles. Like what is that? I think that's one of the biggest characteristics. So yeah, the consistency is one of them, but that growth mindset, the ability to put complacency to the wayside, like that's
And probably also seeing the opportunity for what it is and not getting burned out.
yeah, like yeah. That I would definitely agree with that. Like not getting burnt because every athlete reaches their end, right? Like whether we want to or not.
Yeah.
You had the injuries, I had injuries. Like not there's not many athletes that get to truly leave on their own terms, right?
That's true.
Isn't it wild? Like
Yes.
you just don't, like, you wake up one day, even when you wake up that day, you say, I'm done. Well, what kind of led to that? You
Yeah.
know, like there's not many that kind of ride out on that, that white horse, the way
Yeah,
they want to.
there's few that really decided on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of creeps up on you.
Very fast.
Yeah.
Very fast.
So best coach you ever learned from, best mentor to you?
That's hard, B. That's hard. I've been doing this since I was 4 years old.
I know that would be really hard, but I'm sure a couple will probably stand out to you.
Yeah, they do. And you know what's funny? I've learned a lot from the coaches that I did not like, just as much as I have the coaches that I do like. And I think that's kind of what drove me to be the coach that I am today.
Yeah.
Like, to still be like culture driven, like truly culture driven. Man, when I talk about culture, like I'm root focused. Like, and the culture to me is the people. Like, that's what a culture is. Like, it's you can have all these pillars and all this, that, but your culture is something like you can have a standard, right? You can have a foundation for anything you want in business and in life, in football, no matter what it is. And it can be unwavering, right? But your culture is something you got to fight for each and every day.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be days you're going to wake up and you're not going to want to do it. There's going to be days when you're depending on 18 to 23-year-olds. There's a lot of times they wake up, they don't want to do it. So your culture is something you fight for each and every day. And I think phenomenal coaches that I've had, they understand that. Tom Coughlin with the New York Giants was probably one of my favorite. Like, I learned a lot of how I conduct myself in team meetings. Is very much like Tom. Especially my keys and reminders meetings the day before a game on the road or at home. There's going to be an inspirational quote. Like, it's almost verbatim how he did it.
Yeah.
The structure is.
Yeah.
So Tom Coughlin was amazing. Ron Rivera, learning from him with the Carolina Panthers. He was, he played on the '85 Bears. So, like, just his stories, and he's like a true players coach, which is a term I kind of hate at the same time, because usually when you hear players coach, you think of somebody who's kind of, lackadaisical or kind of just lets the players do whatever.
Yeah.
But he wasn't. We were very disciplined, and we were mean. Like, the way we played, we were mean. But that came from him being on the '85 Bears and playing with, guys like that. So I would say those two are huge.
You were with the Buffalo Bills, right?
Yeah. So the Buffalo Bills, I played for Chan Gailey. And Chan was very quiet. He'd get fiery when he needed to, but he was very quiet. So I learned a bit from him too. But really, who I learned from the most at the Bills was actually Bruce DeHaven.
Okay. Why is that?
And Bruce has since passed. He was a special teams guy. And, like, he just kind of had this, like, every day just happy to be there. Like, he was a tough coach, and he demanded greatness from you all the time. With my big mantra is chasing greatness. He would demand it, like, each and every day. And just some of the things he would say and do, like, they've just stuck with me throughout my entire career. He would always say, I can't promise you will if you won't. All right, I can't promise you will if you do, but I promise you won't if you don't. That was his biggest thing, right? Like, he would say that, and I'm like, what, Bruce, what are you talking about? But now that I'm older,
sense. Oh, yeah.
right? Like, it's so applicable to me today. And that on the professional level, those are some coaches that really stand out. But then, like, I still remember my first ever coach, Lonnie Higdon. And Lonnie loved me like his own son. Lonnie would pick me up when my mom, cause I came from a single parent household. Lonnie, he, right, wrong, or indifferent, he would pay those fees that my mom couldn't afford for me to play. If mom had to work, he'd come and pick me up for practice. So him and John Humes, Big in Humes, he actually did recently just passed this past week, and it was really tough. Me and his son are still best friends to this day. He's a pastor in Nashville, so when I have a team go through there, he comes and gives he does prayer and usually feeds us and does the devotion. But yeah, I've had some phenomenal coaches throughout my life. So it's hard to just pinpoint one. There's
I
something
get
that I've
you.
learned
Yeah.
from each one of them.
And I think that's the answer. I think
Yeah.
if you ask me what has been the biggest influence, or even what's your favorite book, I don't know, because it depends. I like this in this book, or I like, I got this teaching from this person. And I also think it's a very hard question, probably an impossible
It
question.
really is, right? Because we would be here all day. I don't think we
Yes.
have that much time to be able to pick and choose. I'm the same way with books and leaders. John Gordon,
I like John Gordon.
I love John Gordon.
Yeah.
Absolutely love. We just did a book series with our team.
Yeah.
We did him and Mike Smith, the 7 C's, right? With winning the locker room first.
Yes.
We'll do Energy Bus next.
Energy
offseason.
Bus. Yeah. I mean,
Love
it's very similar in business. Like with my team, we've read the Energy Bus, Chop Wood, Carry Water. If you're familiar with that
Yeah,
one.
that's one. It's on my queue, actually.
Yes.
Yes, I have
I
it.
think we
in
need to
office.
exchange our book lineups
Yeah,
here.
absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
That's all I listen to.
I love it. So, and who I'm blanking on his name. Can't hurt me. David Goggins.
Yes. Yeah,
Love-
I have that book too.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love it. And just there's something if successful people have a high willingness to learn and the ability to adapt to change.
Yes.
I truly believe
And
it.
they're very resourceful too. You got to
Yes.
pivot. You got to see
Got
a
to.
problem and pivot.
Right now, got to be able to call it audible.
That's right. And you know what? It's not only that. You got to be excited about it.
Mhm.
Like I always say, change is progress. Sometimes we don't like it, but change is progress.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. I think, change isn't always a bad thing. It's a good thing. Some people are very combative to change, and those are the people I don't want around me. Like, you cannot coach for me because I'm not a coach that is an X's and O. Like, I'm not like married to any scheme.
Right.
Like, if we're going to make sure these kids are in position to be successful. So whatever we're blessed with, we're going to use their tools. And I think that anything in life, if you think that way, you have a better chance of being successful than running your head against the wall.
That's true. What is the question you get most often when you give interviews?
Wow.
Maybe I forgot a question, so I have to ask.
I don't know, because this is probably and not just because we're here, it's probably the best interview I've done, to be honest with you. It's been a very I think it's partly because you don't know football. So I think it's been very pleasant. Like, it's very weird. Like, I'm out of my wheelhouse a little bit, but I get to we're talking about the things that I'm passionate about. And like I said, I just use football as a catalyst. So I think like one of the, some of the questions I get asked the most, you probably wouldn't even relate to them very much.
Probably not, but I'm here. I'm interested in you, the person. I'm interested in Mike.
Yeah. So a Mike question, a lot of people ask, like, what was it like to get drafted? Like, what was it like to get that call? Because it is
that's a question I can go along with.
Yeah.
That isn't okay. Let's ask a question. How was it?
That is, I will answer, and it was the biggest blessing of my life. It was a total out of body experience. It was completely unexpected. I've never cried so much in my life. I've never seen a phone operate that way, because as soon as my name went across that screen, my phone, I had the volume on because I was told by my agent, keep the phone on, because when the draft ends, you're going to get a call probably to maybe try out, or maybe we go to Canada.
Yeah.
So I had my phone on, and when they called my name, the thing just kept saying droid, 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 and it did that until it short-circuited, so that phone died. It said droid over and over again. So that moment to me, like, just like that sound is something that I remember. My mom screaming, me just like falling to the ground crying. One of the greatest experiences of my life. But I think the coolest part about that is what, a lot of people don't understand is that, my wife worked for the Bills. So it was a complete God thing that I ended up at the Bills. But my father-in-law worked for the Bills for 38 years. And as the head equipment manager, he would go to the draft, and he was the one that actually submitted my name to be called. And he said there was something special about it. And so I think that's, the whole experience in and of itself, in the moment and then after, unreal, out of body.
Well, you just gave me goosebumps.
Bless.
That's really neat. I'm glad you got to experience that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
God is good.
Thanks for your time, Mike. It was
Thank you.
so nice to have you here.
Yeah, I had a blast. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.